So every spring we hear about the orange lip trend, but today I'm going to be showing you a dramatic blown out orange eye. I'm going to voice over this tutorial and you guys can tell me what you prefer in the comments. Starting off with the base, I'm going for a luminous complexion by mixing my favorite Armani Lasting Silk and Le Blanc de Chanel. Surprise, surprise, many months later and I am still loving this combination. With bright eyes or bright lips, I think it really pays to spend a little bit of extra time perfecting the skin. Diorskin Nude Concealer. I love this for around the nose because it's emollient and great for concealing little flaky patches. I can get a bit Rudolph nose at times and that doesn't really pair well with my orange eye makeup. I haven't found a tinted eye primer that I like. They always seem to make my eyelids look a little bit dry. So I got a bit creative. I mix an eye primer with a concealer and it works perfectly. For the brows, I'm going for a polished look, but nothing too bold. Occasionally, I actually shade in the opposite direction of hair growth, and that gives a slightly softer finish. Setting the brows with a bit of clear brow gel, you know how it goes. Next, taking this Guerlain bronzer in Ebony. I'm a fan, and I'm dabbing my brush in each shade. This bronzer has a coral quadrant, which really adds some extra vibrancy, but if you'd prefer a softer look, you can use any regular warm bronzer. I'm dusting the product very lightly through my crease. Blown out placements are all about the slow, gradual building to achieve a very diffused effect. It doesn't matter if you get any on the lid, just ensure that you have a very light hand. I'm slowly making my way up towards the brow bone, aiming for a very soft and rounded haze. MAC Coppering, a really vibrant orangey copper eyeshadow. I'm taking that on a damp, flat shader brush and patting it all over the mobile lid, but stopping short at the crease. I'm sure you guys know this, but using a damp brush allows for greater vibrancy, but it also minimizes fallout, and that's always handy. Back to our crease brush, I'm very carefully marrying the lid color to the crease color. I'm trying not to disperse too much shimmer into the crease here. My sockets aren't the most defined, so I'm opting to add a little bit more depth with a very warm matte brown eyeshadow. Using a small and slim crease brush, I'm etching that shade into the outer corners. Just gives the eye a little bit more shape. I'll come back to the eyeshadow after I've done my under eye concealer. I'm using MAC Prolongwear today, and it has the tendency to look rather dry on me, so I'm using a very emollient cream underneath. This does help a little bit, but I'm not terribly blown away by this concealer if I'm honest. The pump also sucks really bad. I could conceal all of your faces with the amount that it dispenses. Quick hydration break. Look at my eye twitch. Isn't that the strangest thing? I don't know, it's just a funny little quirk of mine. Back to MAC Coppering on this awesome smudge brush by Makeup Store. NARS makes a dupe of this, I believe it's the number 45. So using the brush horizontally, I'm pushing the shadow into the lower lash line. Then, turning the brush vertically, I'm blending the product downward, further than I would normally, because blown out placements are meant to be large. If at any point you feel as though you've made your haze too large, you can go back in with a shadow that is your skin tone or one shade lighter and dust that around the edges. It really helps to rein in the shape. Very helpful tip for pulling off bright eyeshadow. Eyeliner. I'm just tightlining today because I think it looks a little bit more modern. We're aiming to separate the bright eyeshadow from the whites of our eyes, or else it can look a little bit sickly. Here we have a yellow toned frosty eyeshadow that I think pairs really well with the very warm tones on the eyes. I'm dabbing that shadow around the tear duct. It looked a bit strong and a little bit cray, so I blended it further with a Q-tip. I'm applying individual false lashes today, and I struggled with these for years. So now that I've mastered it, here are the tips that I found to be really helpful. Number 1, don't over curl your lashes. Super curly lashes obstruct the lash line and it makes it very hard to position the individuals. So I'm just doing the lightest of curls. Tip number 2, dispense your glue and let it sit on a surface for a few minutes. We want it to be very tacky before you even attempt to apply the lashes. Once the glue is tacky and on the lash, place the lash as close to the lash line as possible, but on the natural lashes, so not touching the skin. Individuals have the tendency to point upwards, so I'm just using a finger to push them down so that they face in the same direction as my natural lashes. For this particular look, I'm not trying to perfectly position each lash. I'm just sort of dropping them randomly so they overlap and crisscross a bit. I think that it really helps to create that bushy, feathery appearance. Make sure the glue is entirely dry before you apply your mascara, or you'll be yanking all the individuals off. The big bushy lashes really ground this look, I think, so that the eyes don't get lost in all of the color. Again, creating a distinction between the orange eyeshadow and the whites of the eye. This time I'm using a nude eyeliner in the lower waterline. Back to the face, I'm going to contour today using my favorite Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder and my favorite Ramos Ultimate Cheekbone brush. You guys are probably bored of this combination, but the proof is in the pudding. Where did those cheekbones come from? It was like magic, but it was makeup magic. This next product is my newest obsession, Shiseido High Beam White. It's a perfectly white highlighter with very little shimmer. You'd expect it to be kind of chalky on the skin, but it's not at all. I really like this one because it can be used down the T-zone without making the face look frosty or oily. For the lips, I have two options depending on how brave you happen to be. Option number one is a peachy nude, harmonious with the orange eye and allows for a single focal point. But option number two is a neon blue base pink. Instinctively, this shouldn't work because the eyes are very warm and the lips are really cool, but the contrast is so strong that it creates a purposeful clash, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Makes me very happy, as you can see. Does anyone actually prefer the pink lip? It's very editorial and I wore it to a casual dinner. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Let me give you a hug and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.